Hi Bob, so this is a tutorial for how to play the tune Merriwether. So first thing I'll do is just play the tune for you. Here it goes. Such a great tune. I'm so glad you want to learn it. I hope you'll have fun with it. So it's in the key of G, like all these other G tunes that we're playing, with C naturals on the A string, low second finger there, and working your way up to that high G, low second finger on the E string, and always those G tunes like to go up to that high B note. So it's going to start with this phrase. And the beat comes on the B note there. So the first note, open A, is a pickup note. So you're going to want to be going down, up, down, with the down bows on the down beats. So you can either play that first note, open A, on an up bow to get ready to start on a down bow on the beat on the B note. Or even better, you can start the open A on a down bow and then slur into the B. And that's fun and it sounds good. And you can even drone a little bit on the open D while you do that. It sounds really cool. So you get a good kind of harumph to start off the tune. So now you're going to go back up to the open A. So you've got to play that open A on an up bow, and it should immediately feel weird because you're doing an up bow on a downbeat. So you wouldn't want to do all of those on single bows because then you'd be just up bowing on the downbeat all over the place, and that feels very strange. So you should do the first one. You can't avoid doing that first note on an up bow. And then you do the second note on a down bow, and then you have the opportunity to slur. And this is that shuffle bowing. So you're going to slur from the E up into the G there. And that'll turn you around and you'll be on the right track from there on out. And it also actually sets you up for a nice chuck. So you can chuck on the open A and then slur from the B back down to the open A. And that shuffle bowing leads really nicely into the chuck bowing in that phrase. So one more time, starting up bow on the open A. So let me think about what comes next. So you're on your way up the scale. You're going to do pickup notes G and E, and then climbing up from the open D string, skipping the F sharp and the C sharp on the way up, so you don't need your second finger. And then you climb up to G, low second finger on the E string, and you can chuck all the way up until you get to the top. So you can chuck on the first pickup note, G, and then you chuck again on G. And when you get to the open E string, you're on a down bow. You should keep on doing single bows on those last 3 notes. And the reason is because you're going to do some beautiful bow rocks here. This is one of these perfect old-timey moments when you have an opportunity to rock the bow across strings. So you want to set yourself up for a down bow on that high G, and then really the official way to do this would be when you get to before you get there, when you're on the D note on the A string on your way up, you want to leave your 3rd finger down on that D note so that you can play the open E and the F sharp, and then play that low 2nd finger G on the E string, all without moving your 3rd finger off of that D note on the A string. And I know this is a finger position that's been a little bit of a challenge for you. I know even you've worked on just having 2 fingers down if you had the D and then the F sharp, and then to also set down the G note there, low 2nd finger on the E string. That's an added challenge. So you can take on this challenge if you want, and it sounds really good if you can get it to work. You can do a little bit of an easier way if you want to cheat a little bit. Instead of rocking down to that D note, you can use your 1st finger on a B note on the A string. So that'll sound like this. And that sounds fine too. And it might be a little bit easier for you. But if you want to really challenge yourself, go for the D note. Leave that D note down. So you're on that G note, and you definitely want to do single bows on the bow rocks. There it is down to the B, or if you're doing it to the D note there. And then I think you're going to want to slur those last 3 notes. Let me just play it fast to make sure. Yeah. So in after the bow rocks, slur, D, B, and A, all on an up bow. And that'll set you up to start the first phrase again. You don't have that pickup note on open A this time. You're just going to start right on the B. And then same thing in that 2nd piece, same bowing and everything. Up bow on open A, shuffle, and then chuck. And then you're gonna be in that last phrase. And that feels just like the way we ended before. But this time you're gonna you're gonna pause on the B. You're not just gonna keep on going up the scale. You're gonna pause on that B. And then here's the end. And I would use your 4th finger for that E note if you can, because you can just, if you do that, you can just keep that chuck bowing pattern going. And you'll end on an up bow there, and you'll be all ready to start again on a down bow with that slurred pickup note slurring into the downbeat. So that's the A part, and some challenges there, but good luck with that. And then let's move on to the B part. The first thing, the B part starts off with some pickup notes on open E and F sharp, and you're climbing up to the G there. And you can start the chuck bowing right on the pickup note. So it's the first pickup note, open E, chuck there, and then slur the next 2 notes. And you'll slur on an up bow into the beat, which the real first beat there comes on the G. And you can just keep on chucking there. You're going up to the slur that comes after that. A, G, E, and then you're going to land on that D note, 3rd finger on the A string. And when you land there, maybe it's officially just 1 note, but you're going to want to put a little shuffle on there so you can end on an up bow and be ready to start again on a down bow. But that's where your chuck stops, because because the next you're going to go back up to the E string after that, and you wouldn't want to have to slur on an up bow into the E string. That'd feel really awkward. So start again on a down bow when you get back to the E string, and it's going to be the open E starting the next phrase. You're going to hop straight up to the G, so I don't think there's any reason to put your first finger down there. Just leave your first finger hovering in mid-air there, and just see if you can land with your second finger right on that low second finger G note. And you're going to play 2 notes there, and that second G is your chuck. So then there's a slur immediately after that, A, G, and E, again, same notes. And again, you land on that D note on the A string, and it's going to turn into a little shuffle. Next phrase is going to be exactly the same thing, only 1 note higher. You're still going to start again on open E, and down bow on open E. But this time you're going to jump up to the 3rd finger and play 2 notes on the 3rd finger, and the second one is the chuck. And so then the slur that comes after the chuck is high B, back to the A, and then G on the way down. And you just keep right on chucking through the rest of that phrase. I'm going to play that again. So, onward. You're going to start the next phrase with single bows. And you're going to want to slur from the A, 3rd finger, into the B. And then slur back down. And those notes are A, G, and open E. You're going down the scale. Your bow is going up. So when I say slur back down, I mean the direction the notes are going, not the direction your bow is going. And once again, you're going to land on that D note and turn it into a little shuffle. So this is the bowing from the tune Through the Gates. I can't remember if you know that tune, but you've probably done this bowing in one context or another before. It's like a dotted quarter note on the down bow and a dotted quarter note on the up bow. It's a little bit of a syncopated bowing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3/8 notes down, 3/8 notes up. It's a great bowing. It gives a good kind of a, I don't know, just a sort of a syncopated groove to the playing. And it's really nice that slur up to the high B just really emphasizes the high B. You have to wait for it. You hear just a little bit more of that A, and then finally we get to the high B. It makes it really satisfying. And then you're going to go, so just E, F sharp, G. And you're going to land again on that D, and it's 2 notes, but this time it's 2 solid notes. It's not just a little shuffle. It's like quarter note down, quarter note up. So that whole phrase goes. And then the last phrase, let me just play the whole last phrase. So starting on open E again. So E, F sharp, and G is your chuck. So the 3 note slur that comes after the chuck is A, G, and E again. And then that's your only chuck. And when you get to the A string, so you slur on the E string, and when you get to the A string, you're doing single bows. And you're going to end on that G note with a really quintessentially old-timey rhythm. Down, up, and lots of old-time tunes and their phrases that way. I'll give you a little piece of trivia. There's tons of French-Canadian tunes, Quebecois fiddling, that end with that same rhythm. Happens in that kind of fiddling. And when they do it, they bow it a little differently. They go down, up, down. And that's just one of the stylistics of Quebecois fiddling. But this is an old-time tune, so we'll do it down, up, down, up. And maybe I don't know if it feels a little more intuitive one way or more intuitive the other way, but this way you don't have to do a double up bow, so maybe it'll be easier this way. And it's really great when you end on that last note, G, to grab a little bite of the open G string at the same time. See if you can drone there, get that open G string ringing, because you're playing third finger G here on the D string. So, and you'll end on an up bow, all ready to start the tune all over, with a down bow slurring from the pickup note on open A into the B note. So there you have it. I'm going to give you one more thing to try if you feel like it. When I was talking about the first few notes of the B part, I was saying chuck on the open E. I often feel when I get to that part of the tune like I'm ready for maybe a longer down bow there. I feel like if I just ended the B part like that, and I'm way up here close to the frog of my bow, and I'm ready to start the second time through the B part, feels like maybe I want to work my way through a little bit more of a down bow. So you can slur those first three notes if you want, and then slur on an up bow on the next notes. It's actually the first three notes, it's actually four notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because that G note is twice as long as the other notes. So it's 4 notes down, 4 notes up, but it comes offset from the downbeat. So you start on the offbeat, and then you turn your bow around on the offbeat. That's another great old-timey bowing. I don't think you've ever done that bowing before, but if you want to give it a try, you can, and you might enjoy it. I think it's a really fun bowing. So you're slurring E, F sharp, G, and then the 4 notes on the up bow are G, A, G, open E. And then you're ready to land on that D note with a little shuffle, just like we were doing before. And from there on out, the B part is exactly the same as we were doing it before. So you can try that if you want, but it's totally optional. It's fine to just start on a chuck on the open E there. Good luck with this wonderful tune. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you run into troubles. If you want to make a recording of yourself playing it and upload it, you can. And here's my cat, Sunny, to say goodbye to you. Hey, Sunny. Say goodbye to Bob. Bye. Wave your little paw. Bye, Bob. Have fun with that tune.